So, what is a gigabyte, really? I mean, we see these words thrown around everywhere. Kilobytes, megabytes, terabytes. But what do they actually mean? Well, today we're going to pull back the curtain on the language of the digital world and figure it all out. Let's get into it.
Oh yeah, we have all been there, right? That horrible little pop-up that sends you into a panic, scrambling to delete photos and apps. It's actually the perfect place to start because, to solve that problem, you first have to understand what it is you're even running out of. To really get it, we need to zoom all the way in. I'm talking down to the absolute smallest piece of information a computer can possibly handle. And here it is. Meet the bit. I want you to think of a bit as the single, tiniest Lego brick in this massive digital universe we've built. Every single photo, every song, every movie, literally everything on your phone is built from millions and millions of these tiny little pieces. Now here's the core idea, and it's surprisingly simple. A bit can only be one of two things at any given time. It's either on or it's off, a 1 or a 0, a yes or a no. That's it. This incredibly simple two-state switch is the foundation for absolutely everything that comes next. So a single bit is just a switch. That's not very useful on its own, is it? The real magic, though, that starts to happen when we group them together. And this is the number, 8. It's kind of the magic number in all of computing. It's the exact number of bits we need to string together to create our very first truly meaningful piece of information. And that group of 8 bits, that's called a byte. So if a bit was our tiniest little Lego piece, a byte is our first standard recognizable brick. That classic 2x4 piece. But why 8? Well, with 8 little switches that can be either on or off, you get 256 different combinations, and that's the magic number. It's just enough to give us a unique code for every uppercase letter, every lowercase letter, every number, and all the symbols on your keyboard. And here's where it all clicks. 1 byte is enough for one single character. So the letter A you see on your screen, that's 1 byte of information. The number 5, yep, also 1 byte. And just like that, our simple little on-off switches have started to form a language. Okay, so we've gone from a single switch to a single letter, but what about all the other stuff like photos or songs or movies? Well, for that, we need to start climbing the data ladder and talk about much bigger groups of bytes. The way we do this is actually something you're already familiar with. Just think about how we measure distance, right? We don't say something is 1 million millimeters away, we say it's 1 kilometer. We use prefixes to make big numbers manageable. And it's the exact same idea with data. We use prefixes like kilo, mega, giga, and tera to talk about these huge amounts. And believe me, the scale just explodes from here. Each step you take up this ladder is roughly 1,000 times bigger than the one before it. A kilobyte, that's about 1,000 bytes. A megabyte, 1,000 kilobytes. A gigabyte, 1,000 megabytes. And a terabyte, you guessed it, 1,000 gigabytes. The jumps are just absolutely massive. Okay, now for the fun part. Let's actually connect these kind of abstract names, kilo, mega, giga, to the stuff we use every single day. Let's make this real. This table really puts it all in perspective. So, a kilobyte, a KB, think of a short, plain text email. Not much. A megabyte? An MB? Okay, now you've got enough space for a decent photo or about 1 3-minute song. Now jump up to a gigabyte, a GB. Suddenly you can store an entire high-definition movie. And a terabyte? A TB? That's your modern hard drive. To put that in perspective, 1 terabyte is enough to hold the text of every book in a massive library, several times over. That's the crazy scale we're dealing with now. So why does any of this matter? Well, understanding this whole hierarchy is pretty much the key to managing our digital lives now, right? From choosing a new phone to finally clearing out that dreaded storage full notification. All right, let's do a quick fire recap. We started with the tiny bit, our on-off switch. We grouped 8 of them into a byte to make a single character. We scaled that up to a kilobyte for a text file, then a megabyte for a song, a gigabyte for a movie, and finally a terabyte for like an entire library. From one tiny little switch to a massive digital world. And that brings me to one last thought. Just a decade ago, a terabyte of data seemed impossibly huge. Today, it's pretty commonplace. And as our digital world keeps expanding at this incredible pace, it really makes you wonder, what comes next? What will we be measuring our data in tomorrow? Thanks for joining me on this one.